Hello, fire signs, Aries, Leo, and Sagittarius. Welcome to your tarot reading here at the Intuitive Teacup. We're going to talk today about love, romance, relationships, things of that nature. Please come into this tarot reading with an open heart and an open mind, desire to learn something, to maybe better yourself. If the messages that come through don't resonate for you, feel free to push them aside. You may want to revisit them at a later date. You are accountable and responsible for all your own actions and decisions. This is, of course, always optional advice, guidance, energy check-in. So use your intuition. That being said, let's have some fun. Excuse me, got a little tickle in my throat. Let's try and get you some helpful, insightful messages here today for my fire signs. All right, here we go. Fire. Romance, dating, love, sex, anything that wants to come through. All right, let's see. So the Hierophant and the Devil, power struggle. Let's see. The first message I get from this is for those who are already coupled up and possibly married with the Hierophant. Certainly it could involve a Taurus or a Capricorn as well. It doesn't have to. There could be some sort of argument or disagreement where it's almost like you got away with your charm and your luck, and for a while you were getting your way, and all of a sudden things have turned and you can't use the same tactics or dynamic to get what you want. So there's disagreements. I mean, you have 3 major arcana here too. There could be a disagreement about children or about the children, something like that. It doesn't have to be. And it could be that for those who have children, it could be that the child is taking sides too, and that's actually not the healthiest dynamic because it's putting you more at odds with your partner. Just putting that out there. But sort of like the quote-unquote like tricks and tools you used to use to like get your way or win the argument, that's a little bit different now. There's a different dynamic here. And the Magician is a card of Mercury, which can just simply be, you know, our communication, right? Our thoughts, our ideas. So there may be a little bit of trouble here. Nothing too bad, but I just see it as like an argument or a disagreement. What you need to release is the Page of Candles. So that's the Page of Wands. So yeah, maybe like a little bit of combative energy, maybe a little bit of ego too, in order to get your way. By all means, you need to vocalize what's going on internally and express it to your partner. But with that, I think there's a need to meet them in the middle, to meet them halfway. What you need to embrace is the Justice card. So that is the card of Libra, right? It's about balance. It's the scales, right? It's finding peace and harmony in a situation and amongst a partnership as well. Also, for those, if the topic of argument revolves around the children, or again, if the child is taking sides, something about that needs to be pushed aside or put on the back burner, or quite literally like removing the child from the arguments, you know, so that they're not, you know, impressionable and taking that away. That's just, you know, good parenting, right? So yeah, removing the child from an unhealthy or toxic dynamic for some of you. For some of you, I feel like this message is a repeat message, so apologies if I've said it before, but it is coming up again. For some of you, you may be involved with someone who has addiction issues of the past, and it could be that they've been clean and sober, or whatever it is. You know, it could be shopping addiction, eating addiction, sex addiction. It could be that this person has changed their ways for the better, but you'll notice that their behavior is starting to slide back a little bit, and so you might be confronting them, but the way you're confronting them may feel a little bit aggressive or like you're attacking them, in which case I think the universe is saying you have to change how you're speaking to them. It's not that you're wrong in needing to vocalize those concerns. You know, you're coming from a good place, but something about I'm getting kind of multiple things here, but something about their reaction very much differs or contrasts what you expect. So for some of you, that could be a good thing. It's like you're anticipating this, you know, knockdown, drag out fight because it's been this topic of conversation. It's like a sore subject, et cetera, et cetera. It's triggering. But for some of you, the conversation goes better than you think, as long as both people are willing to negotiate and come to sort of a commonality here. Like the outcome is positive, but for some of you, it's changing the way you go about it. I just keep getting with this, there's like a feeling of kind of like shock or taken aback by how the person reacts. You have a lot of people coming through too. So if this doesn't resonate in your, or some of you are single, right? We'll talk about that in a minute. But even for those who are, this may resonate for you in different areas of your life too. Again, Libra, Capricorn, Taurus, possibly Gemini, maybe. The sign isn't super important, but just for those who need confirmations, there might be something coming through here. All right, so some of you are choosing to leave a relationship, again, especially a marriage dynamic, because it feels like things have changed. And this is a new message, by the way. It feels like things have changed and become sort of unhealthy in the dynamic. And so you may sort of, I almost take the Magician in reverse as like going against that vow you initially took. And there's nothing wrong with that, because I think you're coming from a place of, again, honoring your truth, speaking your truth, and understanding that I have more value than this relationship is offering to me. And yeah, for some of you, it does feel like your partner is, I don't do fear-based reading, so I hesitate to use this word, but there's sort of like a darker energy a little bit. Again, I'm wanting to lean into the fact that a person may have, a person may be participating in a lifestyle that is unhealthy, not just for them, but it's like trickling over into your marriage or partnership. And so any sort of passion, zest, enthusiasm, fun, sexuality that maybe was once there, it seems like that's sort of gone. Like that's not in the dynamic anymore. And so some of you are making I don't know if it's a difficult decision or it's just moving forward with it, understanding that, having this conversation with this person, ending the relationship is going to rock the boat, but I think it's going to bring you peace of mind. So some of you fire signs need to hear that if that's your message. All right, so that's kind of for the coupled up people. For those who are single and looking or kind of, doing the dating thing, but not necessarily committed, let's see. You may have started off with a partner or had some sort of dating prospect, we'll call it that, but then someone else came out of the woodwork and now you're kind of having to let person number one down gently because now you're sort of more involved with person number two. If that makes sense at all. Like you may have started off things in a new relationship and then someone else entered your life and you're like, ooh, but I like them more. So you're kind of at a crossroads, that balancing act of who am I going to choose? And, for how long can I be casually dating both before, somebody wants more of a commitment or before I decide I want more of a commitment with, one of these candidates. So in that case, I think the Page of Wands of what needs to be released is sort of that spreading of flirtation, right? Any pages can be looked at as like messengers. So the idea of having multiple text chains, messages, dates going back and forth. It might be that you actually need to choose to commit to one. That could be why the Justice card is coming in, is what you need to sort of embrace or lean into. And also, the pages can certainly represent children, even like our own inner child. So there might be something very, I'm hearing the word delicious, that's kind of funny, about having, that sort of love and attention from multiple people, but ultimately, how long can that really go on? And if you're casually dating and you're being very open about that, right, there's this clear expectation of like, hey, this is this, so like let's not assume it's anything else until we decide it is, then fine. But I mean, with the Justice card coming in, I see that as more or less wanting to commit at some point. And I do think it's on your end because, I mean, whoever's watching this is your tarot spread. Even if you are cross-watching, that's how we get you, right? It is your tarot spread. So if what's coming in is justice, something you need to lean into, then yeah, justice is a card of contracts and commitment and partnership. It's a Libra card. Libra is the sign of that duality and that dynamic, right? The yin and yang. So for some of you, quite literally, you may end up choosing the Libra. That's coming off as kind of positive. Some of you may be choosing to let go of a Virgo or a Gemini. Again, don't get too stuck on the sign. Ultimately, I'm just kind of reading for confirmations for those who need to hear it. But certainly if something's confusing and you're like, wait a minute, that's not then trust your intuition, right? This can go multiple ways. Again, for the people who are already coupled up, some of you seem to be wanting to get out of a long-term commitment or any kind of commitment. And for some of you, it could be that you were just dating and you had one prospect and you were together for a bit, and then something else came in and it kind of took over without necessarily anticipating that or trying for it. It's just the universe kind of threw you a curveball with someone else coming in. Yeah, that's what I get from this. Let's throw some romance angels on it. Some of you are having trouble writing wedding vows too. Or there's, I don't know, something about fear is creeping in. Don't let it, you know? Fear is just thoughts, right? You can choose to change those thoughts and focus your energy elsewhere. All right, look at these cards. Oh my God, fire signs. It's funny, this isn't going to be for all of you, of course, but I don't get any fire energy in this spread. So of course I'm reading for Aries, Leo, Sag here, but I have a feeling that the other person in this dynamic lacks fire in their chart, or there's not a lot of fire energy present in the other person, which is not a bad thing. It's just I'm not getting that same kind of invigorating fiery energy from this. Or it's possible those watching have charts that are very saturated in something like earth or air or something like that. So this says, make the effort. Great love is worth taking the steps you're guided to take. Very soon, clearly decide what you want so that it comes to you now. And attraction, you attract romantic love by enjoying this moment fully. All right, fire signs, that's what I got for you this week. Please remember to like the video, subscribe, book a personal reading with me. There's information on how to do that in the dialogue box below. Other than that, have a beautiful week. I will see you very soon for more tarot. Bye, guys.